You've probably seen lots of adverts, promos, and people telling you that you can make lots of money as a web designer, a developer, a graphic designer, a coder, or even an AI consultant. And it doesn't just stop there, there's adverts all over the place. I want you to take a step back for a moment because most likely the reason you jump in to watch them in the first place, or even go and sign up or subscribe or purchase a course or something that you think is going to help you out, is ultimately because you need to make money. Because at the end of the day, becoming a web designer is doable, and a developer. You can learn the skills, there's page builders, there's tutorial courses and videos, and lots of information out there to help you out. But the big problem is that leads aren't going to land in your lap from day one. It can take a lot of time and a lot of marketing, and you are going to have success and you are going to have failure. Now, what I want to talk to you about is what can you do to protect yourself from falling into that trap where you start chasing and signing up for things where they're telling you that you're going to make $5,000-$10,000 a month. They may claim that you're going to make lots of money, but at the end of the day, usually they're making money from you. The reason why a lot of you end up signing up for these, or you engage with them, or you give them oxygen for them to continue doing what they're doing, is because you may be struggling. You're chasing jobs. You're saying yes to everything that comes through the door. Someone says they're going to pay you to build a website for $200. You'd rather have $2,000, but because you haven't had any jobs or landed any clients in a while, you kind of go, yeah, okay, I'll agree to that. I'll build your website for $200. And then you're dealing with scope creep and issues and maybe a problematic client, or maybe you put yourself out of your comfort zone and you are so challenged now that you're losing sleep over a $200 project. And I know $200 is a lot of money for some people out there, but depending on your geographical location and your economy, that's not exactly a great return for maybe a couple of weeks' work. So here's the strategy that I want you to start implementing from now. Okay, whether you've got a client or when your first one lands in, and I want you to continue this going forward. I want you to go and create a spreadsheet or grab a bit of paper and list down all of your monthly outgoings. It might be your rent, your mortgage, your food, your energy bills, your phone bill, your internet bill, your subscription bill for Disney Plus or Apple Premium or whatever you got, okay? I want you to list them all down. And it could be subscriptions that you have for games as well. You know, maybe you've got like a PlayStation subscription or an Xbox subscription or a Microsoft one or an Adobe one or for CapCut, whatever you've got, even the ones for your games as well, all right? I don't just mean your expenses. What is your outgoings for your home? And that's why I need you to include food as well. But don't just stop with what you know is going out each month. What have you got going out each year? Now, there may be something you pay once a year, like Amazon Prime, or maybe for your car MOT or your servicing. And I know they can be a little bit unpredictable depending on what's wrong with your car, but you'll have a vague idea. Maybe you have expenses for a holiday you might take each year. Maybe there's something you know you're always going to renew each year. What are the costs for that? Put them all down into this spreadsheet and then work out what is your average monthly cost. Now, my monthly cost on average works out to £1,100. And I've also summarized what that is in US dollars. Now, you might look at that and go, well, that's not a lot. Well, actually, I think it's pretty average for what my spend is. And for some people, you might say that's a huge amount. Again, it depends on your geographical location. Stay with me on this. This is all going to make sense. That is what I need to ensure I've got in my bank account each month to ensure I cover off my monthly outgoings. Here's what you need to do. You take your monthly average and you increase it by 10%, because if you know you're going to spend a certain amount of money each month on grocery shopping and takeaways, maybe going out with your mates or something like that, or, you just go and grab the odd drink or the odd snack or the odd, fish and chips from the store or pizza whenever you want. It's what I call the core payments, things that you have to pay. There's always going to be a bit of excess non-core items as well, but make sure you include them. That's what's in my 1,100. Then increase that by 10%. If you can go higher, go higher. because things are a little bit unpredictable. So that's what I need to be spending or ensure I have or in my bank account or I'm earning to cover those off. Now, let's say you earn $900 per month. You have now not got enough to clear what you need to pay for your outgoings, your core expenditure. So what do? Well, at this point, you may go and borrow money or ask your friends and family, and that's a bad situation to be in when you start building up debt like that. Because when you borrow from people, you're always going to have to pay them back, or you owe them, or they may come and ask you for some help when they need help. And sometimes the psychological burden that can bring is never, ever good. So 1,100 is what I was. I increased it by 10%, and now I've only earned $900 or £900. Hopefully, I've got some savings somewhere where I can dip into to cover the gap. Now, some of you are going to say, but I don't have any savings. Well, that's the moral of what this video is all about. Now is the time when you need to start building up your savings. This is a problem, I think, pretty worldwide, okay, especially in this country. I see it on the news all the time. They say a lot of people have less than 1 or 2, up to about 2,000 British pounds in their savings. And I sort of stare at the TV and I go, why? Because every time you get a client job, a web design project, or you're designing a logo, let me give you a scenario, okay? You start off, and for a couple of months, you're not really getting much work. So you're saying yes to whatever comes through the door, and you're struggling to pay what you need to pay for your core expenditure. And then you suddenly get a project where someone pays $2,000, and you go, well, hey, this is excellent. Wow, I've hit the lottery. Now, my expenditure, my core expenditure out is 1,100 plus the 10%, okay? So we're now going up to 1,210 or whatever it is. So I will then clear that, and I'm then left with £790. What do you do with that 790? Some of you are going to go out and buy loads of new gear, new clothes. You're going to go out to the movies. You're going to invite your friends around. You're going to have a big pizza night. You're going to blow your money. You're going to book a holiday. You're going to do extravagant things. And you're going to grab a spreadsheet and you're going to say, yeah, I made £2,000 on this project. If I get 2 of these, I'll make $4,000 a month. And if I do it every month for the next year, well, that's 4 times 12. That's £48,000 I'm going to make. I'm loaded. I'm going to do amazingly well. No, this is where you need the reality check. And this is the problem a lot of you are going to experience. We've all been there. We go through it as well. We will have brilliant months and then we have a quiet month. But what you need to do is, let's say you got a project and you made £2,000, okay? You need to take off your expenditure, right? So what you're left with, your net income after that, so let's say I've made 2,000 and then I take away my core, I'm left with 790. This is what you need to do. I'm going to give you a value, but I actually go higher than that. You need to save 70% of what is left. So of that 790 or whatever it was, you need to save 70%. You can spend the other 30% of that 790. I don't care what you do with it. You want to blow it, spend it, whatever you want. You want to chuck it at a wall, you want to piss on it. You do what you want with it. That is up to you. But you save 70%. I mean, I would probably say if this is your first month where you actually earn and you are borrowing and you're in debt and whatever, I would probably say save all of it. Be careful. Don't get, lost in, ooh, I've made lots of money, and you go running around spending it all. Save 70%. I actually save 85%. Okay, I am very strict. And believe me, by doing that, I have made a very good return on the last 3-ish years, okay? Because I'm very strict on that. And that's how I've been able to clear lots of other debts and things that, they're always a burden on your mind. So save 70%. I can go up to 85, you go for 70%. Because here's what happens, right? If the following month you now don't get any work, that 70% won't be enough to clear your core expenditure or my particular core expenditure, but it means I need to borrow less if I ever come into that situation. Luckily, I don't come into that situation, but I'm speaking to you because Because I know a lot of people are going to be thinking about, well, I've got to make sure I pay XYZ off. If the following month you get another 2,000-3,000 project, and it might be one project, it might be multiple projects, right? Of that 3,000, you take off the 1,210 that you know is your core expenditure plus the 10%, because that's what you're paying off, okay? Now, I do want to just throw a caveat in. I keep increasing to 10%, but you might not use that 10%, okay? I'm just throwing that in there. You might just spend 1,100, so you don't need to worry about the excess. But let's just assume you always do overspend by 10%. So that's another 1,210 gone out the door. 3,000 minus 1,210 is going to equal 1,790. 70% of that you save, okay? The other 30%, now you've got even more to play with. But this is where you need to be prudent. Just because you've got excess money doesn't mean you have to. So maybe you decide, well, you know what? I will not spend more than $200. That's it. Even though my 30% is equal to more than $200 or £200, I will not spend more than that, okay? I might upgrade some gear, some equipment, my clothes. You know, you might do something with your family, whatever, but you're still going to be careful with what you spend. And the rest of that, you know, if you don't need to go up to it, you save, you stick it in your bank account. Now, some people watching are going to go, what is the point of saving money? You know, if I drop dead, who cares? You know, it's not my problem anymore. If you want to live that life where your income that comes in, you're just going to spend it, go and do that. But you will come to a point where that income gravy train stops and you will have a month of nothing, a year of nothing. And then it goes on and on. You got a family? Are they dependent on you? And you might go, well, my wife or my partner works. Well, yeah, but what if something happens to them as well? Are they also in the same mindset as what I'm saying to you right now? This is just not just about you. This is about you and your lifestyle and your family. So my partner, my wife, she knows that if you get money, if you have excess surplus after you pay your core expenditure, doesn't mean you blow the money. You build it up. She's built up her own savings. We have family savings, and she's got her own as well, and I have my own as well, and she's built it up pretty well. Why? Because you save 70, 75%. When my son starts to work, I will be drilling it into him as well. Great, you're earning loads of money. Don't go and blow it on 20 Nike Air Maxes or anything, right? Save 70, 75%. Stick a portion of that into stocks and shares each month. Just let it grow. Let it compound. Don't sit there going, well, every day it's going up and down. Oh, no, I've lost $10. Oh, no, Tesla's bombed or whatever. Who cares? Compound interest. Let it grow for 10, 20 years and you will get a good return on that, which is far better than you blowing it on a large pizza. You ate it, you digested it, you shat it out. Well, that's it. It's all gone now. Start thinking about the future. And I think there's too much focus on how much can you make? How much can you earn? You can get these leads. You can charge this amount of money. Start saving your money, because there will come points in your life where, you know, your fancy car, your fancy house, and all of these things and your fancy equipment ain't going to mean nothing when you are struggling. And I don't mean to be prescriptive or, you know, I'm not trying to preach to you and tell you what you need to do. But seriously, all the income you make, once you've cleared your debts, all right, you got to clear your debts. You got to clear your burden, your core expenditure, your fancy expenditure, your takeaway money expenditure. You got to clear all of that, okay? What is left? Save a minimum of 70% each month. And if you can get members of your family and your household to do that as well, you will come out of it so much happier and so much better. I'm Imran from Web Squadron. I hope you like, subscribe, share, and follow. Keep sharing. I'll see you soon.